Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce Oneita Jackson. I have been making headlines 40 years. I'm serious. When I was 6, I was in the newspaper. So I was supposed to be in newspapers all these years. Now I need for you to understand how I went from making headlines and being in the headlines to writing headlines. You have to go with me to church because that's where I honed my editing skills. We didn't know I was an editor, but when you go to church for 52 Sundays for 18 years, it has a profound effect on you. You should know the Lord. I present as a heathen sometimes, but I know the Lord, okay? Yeah, so I'm like 12 years old. St. Luke Baptist Church, Dayton, Ohio. I'm from Dayton, Ohio. And I'm sitting in the back. And y'all know if you go to a Black Baptist church service, it's kind of long. Yeah, so I'm sitting there. And in my church, we had Youth Day. And so, just so we're clear, it's a headline and inside my head. So you're going on a trip inside my head. So I'm in church and I'm 12 years old, sitting back there, and I don't know if I was impatient, and I am ADD and not diagnosed, but I'm cool with me. And it's just like, man, they could probably, do something about this. I can't do anything about the pastor when he gets to the fire and brimstone. The Jesus, that great shepherd of the sheep. Jesus, that bright and morning star. Jesus, he'll be a mother for the motherless and a father for the fatherless and a bread in a weary land. And Jesus, Mary's baby. Jesus, Joanna's grandson. Jesus, my all in all. Jesus, my rock. And so you can't tell the pastor not to, rev up, because it's Jesus, 2 syllables. And so, second Sunday, they let the youth take over, all right? Just so we're clear, my mother is a Black woman from Birmingham, Alabama, and I grew up with the values of style, education, and church. My mother's really, really educated, 2 master's degrees in education. And so I know how to speak properly and elocute. And so when you compliment me on such things, yes, I do speak very well. And I was able to do the announcements, which I would cut in half. Because you just really don't need to say all those words. I'm 12 years old thinking there's too many words. What can I do? So, Miss Jackson, can Oneita do the announcements next week? Yes. Okay. And then Deacon Hickman would come and present me these papers, lots of papers. And I get the announcements, and he'd tell me how to do the announcements. Satori will tell you, I'm really good with people telling me how to do stuff. So, yeah, okay, so get up and do the announcements. But before I do the announcements, someone has to get up and give honor to God, who is the head of my life. Distinguished members of the pulpit, officers, members, friends, usher board number 1, usher board number 212, the lady downstairs, the nurses unit, and Oneita gets up and says, "Good morning, St. Luke." All right, so I just shaved off like 9 minutes so we could see the football game, right? I'm just saying, right? Yeah, and then, boom, all right, half, Eddie, half. And then you got this sick list. Why do I have to read the sick list? Jeffrey Mims Sr., 5349 Dusher Drive, has been on the sick list my whole life. I've never seen him. I'm sure he's dead because I went home recently. I'm just saying. So you hone these editing skills. So then when you graduate from high school, and you go to Howard University to get an English degree. Yeah. And I'm at Howard University, the Mecca of Black Education, just so we're clear, Washington, D.C., HU all day. I don't understand these mistakes in this Hilltop newspaper. I can't take this. I go to Howard, I can't take this newspaper home. Are y'all crazy? So me and my little freshman self, I go to the Hilltop, because they need help. Because I can't take that newspaper home. So, y'all got a job? No, they do not have a job for me. I'll volunteer. So I volunteered to be a proofreader, had my little ink pen behind my head, X-Acto knife, and I went to work because I could not put WSA. This is a typo. I go to Howard. I can't send this newspaper home. And so, I could send the newspaper home once I volunteered to work there, all right? So that's what happens at Howard University. And I'm probably the only president of the senior class of liberal arts who didn't graduate on time. Yeah, I did not graduate on time. And I like to blame it on my dad, those 5 Fs that one semester after he died. Yeah, I wasn't doing my work. My dad didn't have anything to do with it, but it sounds good, right? That's good. Oh, her father died while she was in school. Yeah, no. And so I didn't graduate on time, and if your mother is a black woman from the South, and you don't graduate, yeah, they don't like me very much, my family, they don't, because I barely got out of Howard. So now I don't graduate, and I had a baby out of wedlock, 52 Sundays for 18 years. I went to church, and they don't talk about that in church, because maybe if they talked about it, I maybe wouldn't have had a baby out of wedlock, And so when I became a newspaper columnist, I wrote about sex and church and stuff, but later for that. So where am I? Trying to get a job, right? So I had some jobs. I had a lot of jobs, many jobs. I was a waitress. I sold hot dogs in front of Office of Managing Budget. I worked at Budget Rent-A-Car. I worked for a drug dealer. I didn't sell drugs. I sold sandwiches, just so we're clear. I did a lot of jobs. And all this time, my mother is imploring me to go back to Howard, and she's getting on my nerves. So one day, I'm at this job, and I'm tired of my mother, and I don't know what it is about white broads with education who have problems with cerebral black chicks, but I used to find every one on all my jobs. Yeah, so this girl's gonna tell me something. That's not a word. I think you understand, I got like 14 dictionaries right next to my head when I go to sleep. 12 in the other room, 6 in the bathroom. I do words. You can't mess with me in my sesquipedalian vocabulary. You just can't do it. So I was in construction before I moved here from Washington, D.C. I'm in construction, and this chick, she has a Juris Doctor. She's from Staten Island. No, Long Island. Yeah, she's from Long Island. She has a Juris Doctor, and she came to Washington, D.C. from Denver, and she has an MBA, and you need to write for your audience. And I'm like, oh my, I'm in construction, and you're telling, because I have an office too. She had an office, I had an office, and my name was on the door. But you're telling me you have a problem because I'm an intellectual with no degree, just so we're clear. And this must cease, because we were with the president one time, and we had just gotten a bid out. Is anyone here in construction? Do y'all know what I'm talking about? Oh my God, so bid day is crazy, right? So we just gotten a bid, drove it to Georgetown, back. And so the president of the company is like, we should have done it. It's like duplicate. And then she says, triplicate. And I say, quintuplicate. And she said, that's not a word. I said, yes, it is. Go look it up, please. Yes, I'm tired of this chick, right? And it's like, let me go over to Howard, because I'm sick of my mom too, but I have an attitude, because I am an asshole of epic proportions. I stole that off the internet. Someone said that about me, and I'm using it, because I like it. So I go to Howard. Remember, I honed these editing skills, so now I'm like 32 years old. I'm at Howard. back. I'm back to school, you know, I'm back now. And I go over there, and I fill out the paperwork, and I got my son with me. I'm 31. Yeah, I'm 31. And she's like, so tell me, why are you here, dear? I said, look, lady, let me in. And they did. Paid my back balance. I was walking around shame for all those years. I was wasting my mama's money. My dad did dead. Paid the back balance. I had like a 1.79 GPA. I'm not kidding. They said, come on back. I'm like, for real? And I gotta call my mama, tell her they let me in. They gave me a $10,000 fellowship to Albany, New York. And when I went in there, the man said, I've been editing 30 years. You caught stuff we had never noticed, and we'll pay for you to go to SUNY, New York. I was like, I don't gotta go to Howard, sorry. And so I go back to Howard, and I, you know, get my little degree. Ow. But I don't know how to do this editing thing. Like, how do you do it? I mean, when I was in Howard the first time, I was on the yearbook staff, and I was on the newspaper eventually as a copy editor. So now it's like, well, wait, how do you do this copy editing stuff? And I remembered my friend Alejandro worked at the Detroit Free Press. And I happened to be in a program for non-journalism majors. I have an English degree. I hate journalists, just so we're clear. I do words for real. I don't do reporting. I'm a word chick, right? And so the Free Press had a little internship, and I called Alejandro. Alejandro is my dog. Alejandro is the one who gave me the book that would inform most of my writing. He said, go get this book on writing well. So the Free Press has an internship, and I'm like, yo, Alejandro, do you know this Joe Grimm dude? He's like, yeah, I sit right next to him. I said, all right, ask him if I can turn in my application late because I don't want to work on my birthday. And he said, I'm just saying, I ain't feel like it. I mean, I will if I have to, but it's my birthday. I don't like your date, and I'll fill it out next week. So when I finally got around to filling it out, like 6 days later, yes, they called me, and they're like, you know, come. It's like, what up, doe? I'm here. I'm in Detroit, right? It's 2001, I'm at the Free Press, and I'm making intern salary. I'm 32 making intern salary. Just so we're clear, I used to work on Wall Street too. I used to make a lot of money, you know, a little bit of money for, you know, for 24. And I'm editing, I don't know anything, but I'm having fun. And the executive editor dies, and I write this column. And I'm so dumb that I don't realize I work at a newspaper, so I just made a reaction. I wrote this reaction to his death, and I'm showing it to people, not knowing that they could actually publish it, because that's how dumb I am, because it's a newspaper, they publish stuff like that, and the man says, go show it to somebody, and oh my God, they put me in the newspaper. And so what you all don't know is I've been running from writing all my life. Well, it was kind of cool, because my ink pen, don't get it twisted, is really, really sweet. It's so sweet that they decided to try me out. And I'm so nice, so good, so cool with the ink pen. I got a Columnist of the Year award as a copy editor who wrote 1 day a week. Mess with that, please. Yeah, so then I got into a little bit of trouble. I become a columnist, and I write for 3 years. My column was called O Street. It began as a blog, and then, yeah, I had to go be me. I was at this public event, right? The Bagley Pedestrian Bridge, the opening. I'm infamous for this green pen. Yes, and I'm just walking around because the way I used to do my job, I think I used my press credentials twice. I just used to go and hang out. There's something interesting going on. Oh, that seems kind of cool. Let me go check that out. Something struck me, I'd write about it. Well, let me go check out the bridge because, 75 cut between east and west. Mexican town. So we're at this bridge opening, and I see the mayor, and he's like, hello, Miss O, and I'm like, look, I'm trying to work. You know, his bodyguards were trying to block me, and I'm trying to take pictures, but I'm like, yeah, how you doing, Mr. Mayor? You know, I'm trying to get the pictures, because they're scared of my point and shoot. And so we're at this bridge, Manny Maroon's son is there. He was funny. And let's see who else was there. Grandma's people. So all these people at the bridge, and there's this little bench, and I reverted to my childhood in New York, because I spent my summers in New York growing up, and I wrote my name. I wrote my name on a bench. It was like this big. And the Detroit News wrote a story about, what do you call those things? All that paint, what you call that stuff? Graffiti. Yeah. They wrote a story about graffiti, and there's this camera from MDOT following me. And I'm like, ooh, I shouldn't have done that. No, I should not have done that. Yeah, so there's this big story, and, I'm on Gawker, and I get in really, really big trouble. Like, I got suspended from work with no pay for 3 days. I got suspended from writing for 3 weeks, and my editor at the time, I'm getting my punishment meted out, and it's, so I'm going to write a column about this to put it in an institutional perspective for the reader. And I'm like, okay. So I'm going home to get in the bathtub, soak some more, 'cause it's very difficult. Had a lot of support, though. And so I read this institutional perspective for the reader the next day. And I'm like, oh, for real? What am I supposed to write after that? Whoa, did I get dissed? Did I get dissed by my own newspaper? I was like, oh, they don't understand. Like, I'm not about to start writing again. I didn't know what I was supposed to say, because I don't write like this. I'm going to have to work to restore my credibility. The last column I wrote was about what happened. Yes, I did it. This is where my mind was. And the ultimate indignity happened to me because someone changed something in my story after it had gone through the top level of editing. So now a lot of people think something about me that's not true because they didn't ask me a question. I'm a writer. I'm an editor. I put it there. This is exactly what I meant. So I said, I want to return to the copy desk because that's my home. That's what I do. I'm an editor. Dang it, that's what I do. And they were shocked. But I went back to the copy desk, and I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a... Right. And so 2 years later, this is 3 years ago, I went to work, and I had a panic attack. I started freaking out. And Fred Sanford, my dog, was calling me. And I'm like, Elizabeth, I'm coming to join you, honey. And I'm like, oh, snap. This is the big one. I got to go. And so I went into the office. I said, yeah, I need 5 minutes. I think I need to quit my job today. I can't come here anymore. And 3 hours later, I was on a boat on the Detroit River. Now, what I just found out this year is they were looking for me. They were calling and stuff, and one of the editors called, Oneita, how are you? I'm like, swell, I'm on a boat. I just quit my job. I'm on the Detroit River, and I haven't been back. Yeah, so then 2 days after I quit, right? Yeah, I take my son to college, and yeah, it was really far. And I got the tuition bill. I was like, oh, wow. I just quit my job. And then 2 weeks later, I started driving a yellow cab. And I have been having so much fun. So much fun driving this yellow cab. I drive people from all over the world. You talk about 6 continents. People contact me. Somebody's coming from Zurich tomorrow, matter of fact, contacting me so they could take this ride with Oneita the Magnificent. And it's like, yeah, it's cool. I am she. Yes, I am. Yeah, so one of the coolest cab rides was when I drove Alejandro to the airport. We're sitting there, and I'm driving, and we have another one of our Howard University buddies with us, and they're just chit-chatting. I'm driving. I'm on 94, and I'm going, and Alejandro said, do you know what makes Oneita so successful? I need to hear this. I'm like, what success? Success, like, I don't understand this success thing, like, because I'm broke, like, I'm broke, I ain't broke, I'm just saying I ain't got no money, and, I have a job, and every other second somebody has to say something. Oh, I'm a knitter, just for the record. I'm not paying Oneita $99 for a scarf. Oh, $25 for a little book. I'm not buying Oneita, nappy-headed Negro. Her hair is straight. How is she right? How is she doing this? Oh, I heard she was driving a cab. Oh my God! Everybody always got something to say because I'm doing me. You know, so I need to hear what you talking about, Willis? Successful? And he said, because she does what she wants to do. I was like, okay, I could take that because I'm always doing me and I don't know how to do anything else. I'm gonna always do me. Thank you.
Oneita Jackson.